Hi students. Today we are going to discuss about the general portion, that is the natural resources. What is which is the continuation of our previous class, and the module number is 1 and lecture number is 3. Okay, so our subject name is environmental science. The subject code is MC301 or 401. Contact hour is 24. These are the some of the course objective, that is, you can understand the natural environment and its relationship with human activities. You can able to apply the fundamental knowledge of science and engineering to assess the environmental and health risk. You can able to understand environmental laws and regulations to develop guidelines and procedures for health and safety issues. And you can able to solve also some scientific problems that you are facing in your regular life, which is based on air, water, noise and land pollution. Okay, so these are the some of the course outcomes of our course, that is environmental science. You understand the natural and environment and its relationship with the human activities. You can apply the fundamental knowledge of science and engineering to assess the environmental and health risk. To develop the guidelines, you can develop the guidelines and procedure for health and safety issues, obeying the environmental laws and regulations. And also you can acquire some of the skills for scientific problems, to solve to solve which is based on serious critical issues, on environment, some of the environmental issues. Okay, so these are the lecture plan I have given you. So these are the objective of today's class. So our objective of today's class is, we can discuss about the types of disasters. Okay, generally there are two types of disasters we have, that is the natural and man-made. We discuss about the flood, about the earthquake, tsunami, cyclones, landslide, and some of the also the natural disasters. The example of some of the natural disasters also we will see. Okay, and also we will discuss about the what are the cause, what are the effects on us, on our society of this natural disasters. Okay, this is a recapitulation of our previous class. We have discussed in our previous class the energy resources, the alternative energy, some of the what are the alternative energy sources we have to preserve our non-renewable energies, that we have discussed also. And also population growth, we have derived the population growth. Generally there are two aspects, one is logistic population growth, and the second one is exponential population growth. So both we have derived, okay, in our last class. So just at a glance, I'm just repeating whatever we have discussed, because as this class is the just the continuation of our previous class, that's why I'm just repeating. So our energy resource, there are two types. Generally the energy resources are two types, one is conventional energy resource and we have non-conventional. Conventional energy source, like this includes like fossil fuel, okay, coal, petroleum, natural gases, whatever we have, water and the nuclear energy. And non-conventional like solar, wind, geothermal, ocean, tidal, biomass, bioenergy. So these are the some of the non-conventional energy resources that we have. Okay, so these are the here I have given the examples of the alternative energy sources, because in our near future we must face some of the scarcity of our non-renewable energy resources. So that's why we must think about the alternative energy resources like hydroelectricity. We can generate the hydroelectricity with the help of the water pressure. Okay, so here we have used some of the turbine. Again, we can use a nuclear energy. The maintained and the maintained way of nuclear energy, like there we have the fission and fusion reaction, for which there are so many energy will be generated. So if we um, uh, use that energy for our different purpose, so that will be helpful also for our society. So this is nuclear energy. Again, we have some of the bioenergy, that is very important. Biomass, whatever biomass we have, like from the forestry we are getting, for agricultural, from agricultural field we are getting, from sewage, from any type of municipal solid waste, from animal resources, industrial residues. So all these biomass, if we use to generate the energy, that will be one of the alternative energy resources. And also thus we can recycle all the waste materials, which will be very beneficial for our society. Okay, one more thing, that is one more energy that we can use as a alternative, as our alternative source of energy, that is the hydrogen. Hydrogen is a colorless gas, and hydrogen generally found with the combination of oxygen, carbon, or nitrogen. Okay, so hydrogen generally we use, recently we are using for manufacturing of ammonia, petroleum, for refining the petroleum products, and the synthesis of methanol. For this, these are the some of the cases where we are using the hydrogen. And also in the space shuttle we are using the hydrogen as a fuel also. So thus these are the some of the uses of hydrogen. And also hydrogen can be used as an alternative source of energy. Okay, now population growth. Population growth rate, actually what is that? That is actually with the with respect to time, what will be the change of the number of individuals in a in a society, that is called by population growth. That refers to the population growth. Population growth model, generally there are two types. One is exponential growth, one is logistic growth. Okay, exponential growth, in this model we consider that always the rate of the population growth will be increasing. Okay, day by day it will be increasing. It never hindered by the absence of food or abundance of the disease. But for logistic growth, actually this is the actual model of the population growth, that is a logistic growth. Here we consider that at a time the population will be increasing, but at some time it will be constant and restricted by lack of food or by some disease. Okay, so this is called logistic growth. Now this is the derivation of the population growth rate. So that is very important. You have to practice well, otherwise you cannot understand each and every step. Okay, and for you can have this type of question: derive the exponential population growth model, or derive the logistic population growth model. That time you have to answer like this. If you don't understand each and every step, then that time you can derive, and you can score the you can get the full marks. Okay, so this is very important. N equals to n0 e to the power rt, where n is the, what is n? That is the population at time t. N0 is the initial population at time t equals to 0. R equals to what? The rate constant, and t is the time. So this is your this is the equation for the exponential population growth. You can see the population is increasing exponentially. That is why we have using the term, we have used the term that is exponential population growth. Okay. Okay, next, doubling time. Doubling time actually, while the time at when the population will be double from the initial time. That means if the doubling time we are considering as a TD. Okay, so TD equals to, at TD, that time the population n equals to 2n0. N0 means that is the initial population. Okay, so thus we can also get the value of doubling time, and that is equals to TD equals to 0.693 by R. Okay, so this is also very important equation, because this equation also you were asked very frequently in your exam. From this portion you were going to have so many questions. Okay. Okay, so you can see this, these are the two graphs of population growth. One is exponential graph, one is logistic growth. Okay, so exponential growth, always the population will increase, but at logistic growth you can see after some time it will be constant. This is called by carrying capacity, this maximum. Okay, so actually this is the actual curve by actual growth model that we have. Okay, this is maximum sustainability. So now we will discuss what are the effect of excessive use of resources due to the population growth. So if we have excessive use of resource, what will happen? The impact of resources due to this increase in human population, there has been increased pressure on the natural resources that we rely on for survival. Due to those destructive activities of man, has dumped the more and more waste in the environment. If the population will be very high, that time the air pollution, the sound pollution, the water pollution, all will increase. The rate of the pollution will be very high. Okay, for urbanization, for the industrial purpose, for factory growth, deforestation is very common factor nowadays. So that is also very harmful for our environment. Okay, now we will discuss about the disasters. Okay, so generally disasters, environmental, some of the environmental hazard, the state of events which has the potential threaten to surrounding natural environment, and also it will affect the people's health. So this term incorporates the topics like pollution and natural disasters such as storm, earthquake, flood, drought. These are the disasters that we have. Okay. Okay, so these hazards are related to the various environmental process and systems, including geomorphological, topographical, landscape, atmospheric, climate, geothermal, geochemical, okay, hydrological. So all these along the human interventions, including industrial, urban, etc., all are causing the natural disasters. Okay, generally there are two types of disasters that we have, that is the natural and man-made. Natural disasters, they are like flood, cyclone, drought, earthquake. These are the natural, and for man-made like deforestation, pollutions. Due to the pollution, due to the deforestation, whatever disasters we have, that is called by man-made. Okay, some of the disasters that you have in your syllabus, like landslide. When we have the landslides are simply defined as the downslope movement of the rock, debris, or earth under the influence of gravity. Okay, so this sudden movement of material causes extensive damage to life, economy, and environment. You can see how road is blocked due to the landslide. Okay, so this is one type of natural hazards. Next, we have flood. Floods are among the most frequent and costly natural disasters. Conditions that cause floods include heavy rain. If we have the heavy rain or steady rain for several hours or several days, that time we can have this type of conditions. You can see here all the buildings, all the houses immersed into the water. Okay, so flash floods occur suddenly due to the rapidly rising water along a stream or low-lying area. A flood is an excessive water or land that's normally dry and is a situation wherein the is caused by the high flow, overflow of the water is an established water course. Okay, so one more thing, if we so these are the some of the types of natural disasters that we have. Okay, next is drought. So drought is a temporary aberration like aridity, which is a permanent feature of climate. Seasonal aridity also need to be distinguished from the drought. Conditions of drought appear when we have the deficiency of rainfall, and that is only taking place when there are so many when some region is going through the deforestation process, the cutting of trees due to the industry, due to the growth of the factory, due to the urbanization. So we have to cut the trees, and thus we can have this type of situation. Okay, cyclones. Next natural disaster is cyclone. So recently we have one super cyclone, that is Amphan, and we have, you can see how much impact. What is the impact of this cyclone? After the cyclone, what is the impact? Okay, so the cyclone is a term used globally to cover the tropical weather system in which the wind is equal or exceed gale force minimum of 62 kilometer per hour. These are very intense low pressure areas of Earth atmosphere coupled system and are extreme weather events of the tropics. Okay, so this is another natural disasters that we have. Okay, so now we will discuss some of the environmental disasters that we have in our previous years, previous cases. Okay, so among them, the Bhopal gas leak is one of the most natural disasters which caused so many lives. Okay, so 3rd December 1984 has become a memorable day for the city of Bhopal in Madhya Pradesh. So what will happen, some of the poisonous gas from the Union Carbide factory, some of the poisonous gas has emitted, and which this cloud contained the 15 metric tons of methyl isocyanate. You can see methyl isocyanate is very harmful for any type of living system, for any type of the organic systems. Okay, so that is covering the area more than 30 square miles, and this gas leak killed at least 4,000 of the local residents. And almost 15,000 more victims in the years that are followed. So this is the Bhopal gas leak, or Union Carbide gas leak, you can say. Next we have Russian nuclear power blast. power plant explosion. Generally in any nuclear power plant, we are they're using so many amount of uranium, the radioactive elements like uranium, radium, okay, thorium. So these, if nuclear power plant will blast, so that means these elements will discharge into the, will expose to the environment, and they can radiate for so many years. So near to this region where the power plant has blast, so near this region, the total region will be contaminated with this radioactive element, and that is very very harmful for any type of organic system. So on 26 April 1986, they conducted one nuclear reactor. Okay, so nuclear Ukraine, that is located in Ukraine. So due to some error, due to some mistakes, the power plant uh, explosion took place. So what will happen, the temperature reached more than 2000 degrees centigrade, which is causing fuel rod melting and further cooling water boiling. So extreme pressure in cooling water pipes resulted in cracks, which caused the steam to escape. And at midnight, generally middle of the night, the escape steam caused an explosion. Due to this explosion, it instantly killed 31 people. 2 days after the explosion, it is reported that 10,000 times the normal amount of cesium 137 is existed in the atmosphere. You can see this is very radioactive element, and what is generally the specification of this radioactive elements are there always radiating, and which is very harmful for any organic cells. Okay, so this is nuclear power plant blast we have. One thing, one disaster also we have, that is for the air pollution, that is London smog disaster. Okay, so it is said that in our environment we have the sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide. Okay, so this is important for our environment, but at a limited amount, due to the emission, due to the harmful emission gaseous emissions from the automobile engines, from the industry, from the factory. What will happen, the amount of sulfur dioxide, carbon dioxide, nitrogen dioxide, all these are increasing, and that's why also we have the global warming. So what will happen, if we have the sulfur dioxide in our environment in a high amount, with the help of the water droplet, it will form the sulfuric acid, and which will cause the acid rain. Okay, so in December 1952, the heavy smog we can see to the London, in the city of London. So this is called London smog, generally that is created by the sulfur dioxide, by the increased amount of the sulfur dioxide. Okay, and which will react with the water moisture into the environment, and it is forming the acid. Sulfur dioxide concentration increased to 7 times in its peak level, and the smoke particles trapped in the fog gave it a yellow black color, and which is very and after that, the droplets will form the sulfuric acid, and which is very harmful for any for all, for our environment also. Okay, so this is London smog disaster. Okay, now some of the cases also we have where the oil spills of the oil spills in the ocean we have. There are so many examples that we have. At the end of the 20th century and beginning of the 21st century, there have been oil spills all over the world, caused either by naval accidents or during the major wars. In 1978, March 16, what will happen? One the ship, super tanker, that is because of the failure of the steering machine, all the oil spilled into the ocean, and which is having so much detrimental effect on the aquatic, any type of aquatic system. So these are the some of the disasters that we have. Okay, now what are the cause of disasters? There are so many causes that we have. Generally, natural disasters are caused due to some of the reason like soil erosion, like air pollution, like water pollution. Okay, air pressure, ocean currents. So these are the some of the causes that for that we have the natural disasters. The root causes of most of the natural disasters occur on Earth can be attributed to the imbalance created in our environment. The imbalance may either be in the form of air pollution, sound pollution, or water pollution, and the collective effect of the imbalance are also one of the few reasons for the natural disasters. Okay, so one thing only we can do to stop this, we have to be concerned, we have to be aware of this, of our environment, and also we have to stop this type of pollutions, all pollutions like water pollution, air pollution, land pollution, which is the best solution for our sustainability. Okay, now I have given one question, that is the just a quick review. Whatever I have taught today, how much you have understood. For that, I have given one question. That is, what are the types of disaster that we have? And for that, you have 10-second time. Your time starts now. Yeah, your 10-second time is over, and obviously you are absolutely right. There are two types of disasters we have. One is natural disasters and one is man-made. Man-made means generally whatever we are doing by our activity day by day, the environment is getting polluted, the environment is degraded. For that, whatever disasters we have, that is called by man-made disaster. Okay, so, this is a recapitulation whatever we have discussed. The type of disasters we have discussed: flood, earthquake, tsunami, cyclones, landslide, and their cause and effects also we have seen. So, yes, all these things are checked. Now, students, what you have to do, you have to follow the classes very well, and you have to do the assignment, in do the assignment properly, and submit the assignment in time. Otherwise, you cannot get the full marks. Okay, so please follow the classes and do the assignments properly. So thank you, students, and have a good day.